Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about choice. So I made a video right before this actually talking about how to overall start to improve your life, how to overall start to see more results, right? And I kind of gave a broad overview of it, but let's talk about the daily lifestyle, right? Because you can live in fairyland and start thinking about your future, but what do I do right now, right? And that's really where a lot of people, I think, screw up, is they get so caught up in building castles in the sky when it comes to their goals, right? Or their business or their career, that they forget that you can only act in the present, right? You can only act where you are, where your 2 feet are right now. And so this has been something that I've had to learn as I get older, that, a lot of my dreams and aspirations are great, but they only exist right now if I act on them, in the moment, on a daily basis. So choices, right? This is really what we're talking about here. Choices is what determines your day-to-day reality, which in turn determines your monthly progress, your yearly progress, and your overall life, what your life looks like overall, right? So your ability to choose the right thing to do, right, or the thing not to do, is going to be key, right? So when you're analyzing your life, right, you're setting a goal, for example, it could be, I want to save more money, right? Well, what does that look like for you, right? Me, for example, I wanted to save an extra $500 a month, right? Because I wanted to have a lot more money to put into investments, right? So 2 years ago, I was working 2 jobs, right? And I was like, yo, I gotta make this happen, right? Because I was working one job, that one job wasn't, allowing overtime. And I was really hungry to get after it and start to invest aggressively. So what did I do, right? I worked 2 jobs, right? And in the afternoon, right, 4 to 10 p.m., I would go to my job at the restaurant I was working at, and I would work, right? And by me doing that, that's a choice, right? I'm choosing to do that. I understand that it's my decision to work long ass days, right? But what am I doing when I'm doing that? I'm saying no to a lot of things, right? I'm saying no to the gym. I'm saying no to drugs. I'm saying no to potential people asking me to hang out. I'm saying no to video games. I'm saying no to doom scrolling, right? So I'm saying no to a lot of things that could hurt my potential, right? So when I looked at what I wanted to do, right, it made sense to do that for a specific period of time, right? And then once I was really built up a good portfolio, right, I was like, you know what, working these 16-hour days is starting to get overbearing, right? Because when you're working, it does get tiring. You can't, your mind is a good instrument for willpower and forcing yourself to push through things, but guys, your body can't, sometimes your body won't be able to handle heavy workloads. But anyways, so what did I do, right? I was like, okay, I still want to make a lot of money, or I still want to progress in life, but what's a more smoother way, right? What's a smoother way to do it? And what are my talents at? What could I develop myself in, right? And I asked myself that, right? And I had a choice. I was like, hey, I can either continue to grow my career and keep working up extra hours, or I can come here and practice my speaking, right? Practice my ideas, right? And I found out that, YouTube, right, was more aligned with who I would like to be, who I would like to, how I would like to express myself and help other people, right? Because I was like, yo, I know, working 2 jobs is great, money's going up, but I'm not really helping people. I'm helping myself, right? Obviously in the short term, but in the long run, who am I really benefiting? No one can hear my voice. So I understood that I needed to pivot and transition, right? And that was a choice, right? I had to be decisive. I had to be willing to accept the reality of whatever happens on YouTube. Hey, I know that some days I might not get a lot of views, right? I know that sometimes people might put hate comments, right? And that can be debilitating, and that causes a lot of people to quit, right? But what are the cons? Well, there's unlimited growth potential, right? I actually have an influence on how people respond to my content, and most people actually enjoy what I say. It's relatable, and people might be able to take something new and how like it can help them in their life, right? So as you evolve, as you get older, as you progress through life, you're gonna come to halts in life. You're gonna come to points where you have to choose one thing or the next, right? Because you can't do one thing forever, right? You're either growing or you're dying, right? Like you can't just be, you can, but most people stay in one position in life. They work one job in their life and that's it, right? They don't know that like there's a possibility that they could actually continue to evolve and grow and develop more skill. So that's all dependent on you, but choice is something we all have, right? We all have the ability to choose one thing over the next. And by default, right, I'm saying, like right now I could be Ubering, right? Or I could be working a second job and making, more money than these YouTube videos generate. But in 3 years, right, if I continue to go here on YouTube, right, I'll probably start making more money than I will more effortlessly than working Uber, or working in a restaurant in the evenings. So I'm just trying to give you guys some cues as to how to think and how to look at life as you evolve, right? Because you always want to be evolving into something that's aligned with your strengths, right? And choices are inherent to that. Your choices also, what you say yes to, you're by default saying no to something else. So me right now, I'm saying no to a lot of things. I'm saying no to working extra hours. I'm saying no to pornography. I'm saying no sometimes to the gym, right? Because there's days, guys, where I work 10 hours, I'm tired, and what's my one thing? My one thing is YouTube, right? This is what I'm focused on. This is what I'm aligning all my thoughts, my emotions, and my energy into, because I know that this is going to help people. It's going to help myself, obviously, but it's going to help other people as well, right? And it's something that I enjoy doing. Yes, it's a little difficult at times, as you guys can see. You guys, I'll be honest, like sometimes my videos are complete shit, right? Like today, to be honest, I'm not as acute as I am on other days, right? You guys can probably tell I'm a little tired today. I'm a little slow. I'm pausing a little more, right? But I'm here, right? So by default, choices, right? Like there's also times where it's like, I know that pornography is destructive to me. Am I going to choose to open up Pornhub? Am I going to choose to edge, right, for hours? Am I going to choose to doom scroll on Instagram? Or am I going to put the phone down? Am I going to come out here, do some yoga, do some breathing, right? Go back inside, maybe eat some nice food, cook a nice meal, right? And then go for a walk, right? Those things are more aligned with who I want to be than doom scrolling on my phone or binge watching pornography, right? So we all have choices at the end of the day in our day-to-day life, and sometimes it's hard when your willpower is drained because you're working so much, right? It's hard to make decisions after you get off a 9-10 hour workday, right? But at the end of the day, guys, when you're trying to build dreams, when you're trying to build towards your dreams, right, your ability to be decisive and know exactly what you need to do and know your one thing is going to be inherent and the most important thing that helps you succeed, right? If I'm constantly battling in my mind about like, should I do this, should I do that, should I do this, should I do that, this person said this person said that, without being decisive, well, I didn't get shit done. And I just made myself mad because now I wasted a lot of energy thinking. I wasted a lot of energy going back and forth between different ideas, different things to do, and I got nowhere, right? So that's really where you want to be when it comes to choices and being decisive, right? Those are, like I said, when we talk about on the daily, right? That's how you got to think. What am I going to do today? When I wake up, even before I get to work, as I'm driving to work, I think, what am I going to do when I clock out, right? And it's not to say that, you can't live like you shouldn't, I'm not saying you shouldn't live spontaneously, but I'm saying you want to have a general concept just in your mind of like, hey, like, this is what I'm going to do today, right? And once you start living in a certain way, right? Like I know what I do. I meal prep, I go for walks, I go to the gym, right? I spend some time out here in nature, right? I hang out with my girlfriend 3 days a week. I go to the gym 3 days a week, right? I work my job and I read books. That's literally all I do, right? That's it, right? And when you look at that, right, like how can that not lead to success, right? I'm using myself as an example, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but how can those things not lead to success? I invest every month, right? Every week, every month, I invest something. How can that not lead to success? Do you guys see what I'm trying to say, right? So all of your choices come down to you, and learning who you are as a person is going to come down to, it's going to come down to what you're good at, right? And once you find that out, right, you got to analyze, like, hey, like every day I have a choice, right? Every day I have to be decisive as well, right? Because if I'm not decisive, I drain my energy and I end up nowhere. I end up getting nothing, attracting nothing. So anyways, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.